Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live edition of the Market Down Podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week by Danny Hernandez and James Asanzi, once again reviewing the latest edition of AEW Dynamite. And we begin once again with the ends, a TNT Championship ladder match between Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky, where Scorpio Sky was able to win back his TNT Championship. There's a lot in this match, some good high spots. Sammy crashed and burned on a few of them, especially that one right before commercial where he did a corkscrew something. And I don't know if Sky was supposed to catch him or not, but he didn't. Sammy ate shit. So that was cool. And if he didn't hit hard enough the first time and we got back from commercial, Sammy springboards off one ladder straight into a cutter off of another. So Sammy was just taking all sorts of bumps. Shortly after that, Sky brought out a barbed wire lace ladder, and then he ate a bump into that, a sick standing Spanish fly right into that. I will always pop for a Spanish fly. Fucking love those. Right after that, Sammy brought Dan Lambert into the ring, and that led to Ty kicking him in the balls, which surprisingly, I had that over under on nut shots at 1.5, and the under came in. Because that was the only one. I thought we were gonna get at least two. Anyway, yeah, so Ty kicked him in the huevos, which led Paige Van Zant to come out, and then they got into it. Eventually, at some point, both Sky and Sammy were climbing ladders with Ty and Paige Van Zant on their backs, which was pretty cool. Anyway, this match ended with Sky and Sammy on the top of the ladder. Sammy was able to knock Sky off. Goes up for the championship. It takes his time. Scorpio able to grab the ladder, tip Sammy into the barbed wire ladder. Sammy then able to recover very quickly, springboard up onto the middle ladder. I'm going to say drink every time I say ladder. He springboards onto the ladder. Sky very quickly knocks him back off and wins back the TNT Championship. And then Frankie Kazarian came out after to dap Sky up and set up their match. So that was a lot. Danny,
you did good though.
Thank you.
Good.
It was a touch overbooked, just a touch. But Danny, you are the person who I think harps on most that you don't love the one-on-one ladder matches. So I'm curious to see your opinion on this first.
So, okay. I don't know whether to start with my major nitpick or to start with something positive. So I'm going to start with my major nitpick. Bro, you took a bump off a ladder onto barbed wire.
Yep.
Stay the fuck down. What? Just to have a fake out? That was so stupid. Oh my God, that was dumb.
Completely unnecessary.
I know that this is Danny's turn, but I just got to bounce off of it better than Sammy bounced off the ladder. It would have been so good if we saw him bounce off the ladder and then literally bounce back onto the ladder. Like, yeah, he took the bump. It sucked, but the momentum pushed him back onto the ladder and he tried to fight for it. I would have loved that spot, but we clearly saw him land off of it, take the hit on the ground, and then get back up. And then I'm supposed to believe that falling off a ladder regularly is just going to be okay. Come on.
What a limp end. And if you end with the you just end with the barbed wire spot, right? That's just
absolutely
how you end. Oh God. Anyway, other than that, I think all the shenanigans with Tay and Paige coming out and Dan Lambert, I think that offsets my normal problems with one-on-one ladder matches because there's at least, someone out there to stop Scorpio Sky after he takes out Sammy. There's someone to stall for time and distract and, but fucking six spot, taking the bump off the ladder onto the barbed wire. I don't want to undermine that by complaining about it, but
everything that followed.
I mean, they undermined it themselves. They undermined it. It was such a great spot that should have ended the match.
We're I don't often agree with the Cornettes of the world and everything, But like sometimes you just make it too easy for them. Like, bro,
Yeah.
sell a fucking move. Holy shit. But still fun, crazy spots. Yeah, Sky clearly was like 2 steps off trying to catch Sammy off of that. Was like a Phoenix splash off the ladder, essentially. Like it was insane. Good stuff. You know what? I don't want to complain again because again, every time Sammy has a ladder match or any type of match where there's no DQ, he's gonna take insane fucking bumps, and props to him. But like, why did the title change hands again? Why did it change hands 2 weeks ago in the first place? Why did we have Battle of the Belts as a show? I don't understand. I don't understand. We were just saying, I know you guys aren't excited for the Kazarian Sky match, but I'll take it over this. Like, because this, I don't understand what the point of any of this was.
Yeah,
like, I don't understand. Besides, this is all Cody's fault. That's all.
what's his name?
Doesn't happen.
Oh, what's his name? I don't mind how this all proceeded, how all this happened, as long as it's over. If it's over,
not.
I mean, it might be. It might be.
No, because we're still gonna have the mixed tag.
Yeah,
so it's not over.
It's not.
Oh, can I say also? You know what? Because I don't care. We're complaining about it. I was gonna try to be nice, but I realized I don't have many nice things to say about this match. Show was great though, but like,
It's okay.
I don't know if I'm bringing in like Paige Van Zant, and I'm not a UFC guy. I don't even know what it stands for. Ultra Frisbee Crew. I'm not sure, but like if I'm bringing in someone from UFC, I kind of make them look a little stronger and not make them seem like worse than Tay, like who held her own constantly with her. Like, especially when she had the jump on Tay like multiple times and they still always canceled each other out instead of Paige looking good. I don't know. I didn't think it was a good introduction of
So,
her.
I'm wrestling with this because it's like, I like Paige Van Zant. I really do. I can't say she was the best fighter. I can't, like, I think she lost way more than she won. And it's like, Ty, at the very least, does have a background, I think, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, and Muay Thai, if I'm not
And
mistaken.
Muay Thai. So it's like, I can buy it, but I agree, it's not a good way to really debut somebody. And go ahead.
I was say, for the record, Paige Van Zandt in UFC 8-5-1.
8-5. Okay.
Oh, 8-5-0. My bad. 8-5-0.
All right, that is a winning record. I take back what I said, but
she never really reached like the upper echelon of UFC.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would have served her better to look more dominant, but I actually kind of believe it. It doesn't feel like Ronda Rousey coming in and having a formidable match against Alexa Bliss. This feels a little more balanced.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Paige, like I said, not the best UFC fighter, and Ty, like you said, James, has her legitimate bona fides as well. So it makes sense to me. And they have made a point to say like, oh, like Paige isn't, a wrestler, so she's not as good in the ring, and that's why she's off training and not there all the time. So I know this wasn't a wrestling match, or even it was just a brawl, but they are lending a bit of credence to that. But I think legitimately Ty and her holding their own against each other makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta agree with Dragoon. She's looking just as good as she did in UFC. So, but I think my bigger problem with all of this is just the hot shotting of the title. I don't like titles being hot shot in general. And I mean, if you're gonna do it with a title in AEW, this is the one to do it with. But because I mean, you kind of touched on it before, Danny. Like, Sammy had it and then lost it to Sky, and then he won it back at Battle of the Belts. And that did serve a purpose, like we talked about last week, where it gave Sammy a good opportunity to turn heel with the low blow. But now Sky just wins it back, and it's just like, what? So what is this, like 5 title changes since Face of the Revolution or something? Like, Jesus, or maybe just before with what's his name? Like, it's been a lot in the last few months. A little too much for my blood.
Yep. Yep. I wanted one title hot shot. I wanted Hangman to lose the world title quickly. That's one hot shot. And here we are now, the TNT title, where, yeah, like you said, this is what the 3, 4, like 5th title change since Christmas.
Yeah, because it's Cody won it, and then interim title unification, if you want to count that as a title change.
Yeah, so
and then Sky, Sammy, Scott. So 5 or 6, depending on which way you want to put it. It's too much, especially in a company that like they don't hotshot their titles purposely. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Just to answer a question
ahead.
from the chat, where is Miro? We think he's still filming his TV show. He is very missed, though. I think we can all agree Dynamite is severely lacking in Bulgarian brutes right now.
And ravishing Russians from Florida.
Debatable,
yeah,
but
very debatable, I think. But.
Debatable.
Or at least mentions of them and how flexible they are.
And Dragoon, I would pay to see you win the TNT title, buddy. I would.
As long as you hold it for more than a week.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure.
All right. Let's jump to the top of the show here in a very intriguing match. Dax Hardwood versus Cash Wheeler for the qualifier for the Owen Hart Foundation. CM Punk on commentary. This match was really, really cool.
Oof.
It was very old school, like technical. It was a Hart match. It's exactly what it was, a Hart match. It was, like I said, old school, technical, very grounded. I think they only got on the top rope like 2 or 3 times. Well, 98% of it was in the ring up until towards the end when the both of them went crashing out of the ring. Cash hurt his knee. And then upon going back into the ring, Dax lines up for the sharpshooter, hesitates, and then decides to go for it. Cash counters, gets Dax into a roll-up, and then Dax counters the roll-up with one of his own and picks up the W. So I thought it was also interesting, too, to jump back really quick. In the beginning, they both came out together, but in separate tunnels. Dax came out of the face tunnel and Cash out of the heel. I thought it was going to be lend a little credence to see how each guy would, go about the match. But it ended up really being a very down the middle, not too much drama, except I think in like the first 5 minutes there. James, you made a noise, so I'm going to go to you first. You seem very, very enthralled by this.
I love this match. It was the match I was most looking forward to coming into Dynamite. I have come to realize whenever Dax Harwood has a singles match to pay attention because it's going to be a surprise hit, and it delivered. And I loved commentary noting that I think this was Cash's maybe 3rd singles match in 5 years. That's crazy. Even going back to his days in WWE, how did they not book him for singles matches? Because they love doing that, like half of the tag team wrestling the other half of the tag team. It's kind of shocking, but they had a beautiful match. Technical. I think it would have made Owen Hart himself proud. My favorite part of the match wasn't the eye poke, but it was CM Punk trying to explain, oh yeah, even when I'm training, I sometimes throw the accidental eye poke at my instructor. It's like, it was ridiculous trying to justify it in any way, but it was fun. It was a great match. The right man won. I'm excited to see who his first round opponent's going to be. I hope he doesn't lose in the first round. I'd love to see him at least get to the second round to make it mean something. And beautiful to see Dax hesitating to go for that sharpshooter onto Cash, who had the injured knee, but then Cash took advantage of it, and then Dax reversed the reversal. Beautiful finish to a beautiful match with a beautiful story, and I'm so glad that at the end they just made it clear there's not going to be any drama. This was a match between best friends just to honor this tournament. Loved every bit of it, and I hope we get more singles matches from these guys down the road, and it's used well.
I was gonna make a Chuck E. Cheese and Trent joke, but I'm not going to. But this honestly reminded me of like seeing clips of watching Brett and Owen back in like the old, back in old WWE. I never really sat down and watched any of those matches, but they always would show the clips, and that's what it looked like. Just very good technical, like mat wrestling, and it was great. It also this also kind of reminded me not in ring wise, but back in the original Cruiserweight Classic when they put Ciampa and Gargano up against each other. And when that was like right at the beginning.
I got
think,
those
when they were
vibes too.
tagging. It felt a lot like that.
I got those vibes too. That's a really good callback. Well, not callback, but I mean, hey, those guys are buddies. Maybe they did take a little something from that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if I remember that match correctly, Ciampa definitely played it a lot more heel than either of these guys did, but mostly probably because, you know, somewhere lying deep inside was that psycho killer we ended up getting a few years later. But yeah, Danny, it gave off, you know, the similar vibes to me. Just seeing two guys in a tag team facing each other, especially guys you know are such good friends, is always such an interesting proposition.
Yeah,
Bye, James.
This was awesome. All right, I guess he's done. All right, well, just you, me, Rev, no Chad, no James. It's just us. But anyway,
we didn't even say anything about Jeff Hardy this time.
Hey, I needed to charge the computer. I'm here. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. It really bothers me that Jeff is going to be wrestling next week, and I'm most likely not going to be able to do the pod. Uh-oh. Danny, please be kind.
Of course. Hey, me and Jeff both celebrated a holiday recently, but I assume anyway. But yeah, this was great. I loved this. This is like one of those things where I don't care about any of the stuff surrounding it. I just care about this. Like, you know, if I wanted to Eric this, right, I can literally just say, why are these guys wrestling each other? Like, why are they facing each other? What's the big deal? What do they get from this? I don't care. I really don't care, because this was just fucking great. You know, I'm trying just for the sake of, you know, being antagonistic and stuff, but like I have I can't really think of a way to like be a downer about this. It was just so fun. Yeah, you know, there's not much more I want from this. This tournament is just, it's been nothing but good and fun so far, and all we've had is qualifiers.
Yeah,
One,
right.
I like they have to qualify for a tournament, and you're not just in it. You know that, so that way, you know what? I don't want him to lose in the first round either. But if he does, he at least won a match already going into it. You know, so he at least has that going for him. But yeah, all good stuff here. It's so weird for something that you would, because how long have we known about this tournament? Hasn't it been like months and months where it's like we knew they were going to do this kind of thing, and now finally we're here?
At least since last year.
Yeah. So now we're finally here, and it's like, why did we wait this long? But also, who cares? Because so far all we've gotten is fun, good matches out of it.
Yeah, I haven't had a complaint about a single qualifying match on the men's or women's side the entire time. So even the women's matches, even like some of them are fairly obvious who's going to win, like Fritz the other week, but it was still a fine match. So I have no complaints of anything that has come with this. I think every wrestler in the company is going out there and putting on, you know, trying to put on the best match they can because of, you know, the gravitas that, you know, Owen has and stuff. So yeah, I am loving all of this. And I'm also with you, Danny. I am loving the fact that you have to fucking qualify instead of just being thrown in there, or, oh, all these people qualify and then we're going to have a fatal four-way to see who the last qualifier is. So everyone qualifies. It's great. All right. And then immediately after the match, in a bit of an odd segment, they announced Hangman Adam Page versus CM Punk on commentary. No sequitur, nothing. Very odd. I would throw out that Hangman did say on Twitter today he has COVID, so obviously he was not at the show tonight. But they do have a few weeks before Double or Nothing, James, and then they just announced this. Punk, you know, gave a quick promo right after and hyped it up a bit, but it was such an odd way to do it, and a fairly early one at that, even though we all knew it was coming at some point.
it feels so weird that they did it the way they did, because so many people have been clamoring for this Punk title challenge. And it nothing against this other guy, but this isn't Christian going for a title. This is CM Punk. This is the first time CM Punk is going for a world title in, oh my God, 8 years, 9 years, maybe. So you treat this like a big deal. And I understand Hangman's not there. I wish him well. I hope he speedy recovery for Hangman Adam Page, but we have time before the pay-per-view. There was no need to announce it right now without the champion there. And there was no need to announce it the way you did. I get that Punk was already out there for commentary, but so many better ways to do this. It's a real downer, but either way, I think everyone can just agree we're excited to see Punk officially getting this title match. I'm sure the moment Hangman comes back, they're gonna hit it, full speed ahead. But a real weird way to get this started, even though it did lead to a nice little promo from Punk.
For the record, I just checked. The pay-per-view is May 29th. So we have almost a month before Double or Nothing. So like we said, plenty of time to do stuff, Danny, even if you don't announce it in the next week or two.
Yeah, and just to address some people in our chat, Eric doesn't think Punk is winning the big one. And yes, we do kind of use Eric as a verb a lot, especially in our own group chat, which you're a part of, Eric. So I feel like you should be aware. But I don't want to, completely derail the subject, but I'm out on Hangman if he beats Punk too. That's too much on one guy. You're wasting so much on. Wasting's not the right word because Hangman's a star, but like I don't know. I think Punk has to win it. But yeah, you could announce this next week. You can tease at it. You can. Honestly, I loved the Punk promo. I don't want to undercut it, but you didn't need to have that here. But I did like it. I did love that ending where he's like, "I'm going to do this until the wheels fall off." I really like that. That was a good line. But yeah, it's just odd. I'm not as offended by it as James is, but that's okay. And like James said, this is the Punk match. This is a big deal. This isn't Jeff Hardy or whoever you said.
Unnecessary, foul.
Okay,
You even pissed off the dog.
Oh man, I think your dog has a drinking problem then. But
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's not much else to say about it. Like this, it's a weird step, but we got to cut him some slack because, COVID, real life stuff, gets in the way. It's understandable. It's forgivable.
Yeah, I wonder if the plan was always to announce it today, and then because Hangman was unfortunately unable to make it, that they just kind of did it this way, and they could have things planned for the next month. I guess we'll wait and see. Just to I don't know, like I said at the top, a very just odd way of doing it considering the timing, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. All right. So after that, we had a quick Scorpio Sky and Dan Lambert backstage promo, just typing up the title match, and congrats to Sky again. And then we had the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Factory, which was QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and Nick Camarato. With holy shit, Anthony Gogo's alive. He was there in the corner.
Punk was not Punk. What's his name was wrong. He didn't get to solve racism after all.
Fuck, we're back to the beginning. All right. Anyway, this match was cool. Wheeler was in his hometown, which was nice for him. Typical Blackpool Combat Club match, I thought. Just the beat him down and help get Wheeler over, which worked. Anyway, Wheeler picked up the win in his hometown. He got 2 standing submissions on Camarato to get him down, and just hammer and anvil elbows until he picked up a pin using the seatbelt. So this was cool, Danny. No complaints. When the BCC keeps rolling.
Oh yeah, just a filler week, but a fun filler week. Yuta looked great. It's nice to see him winning matches now that he's in this group. fantastic stuff. I love Brian. I love Mox. I really like you to get there, but all great stuff. I'm sorry not to again jump back and forth, but just to address our chat again, because I don't want to leave them hanging. But like,
Yeah, Chad is rolling tonight compared to
no,
last week.
they are fucking here. Dragoon,
Good.
we get it. You hate punk. You're a hipster about it. Which is funny because it's like a hipster. It was a hipster thing to be a fantasy on punk, and now that's gone full circle. And now he has become the mainstream, and now you gotta hate him. But Hangman is solidified. What more does he need to do, bro? He beat Brian. He beat Cole. He beat Omega. Like, does he need to beat Punk too? Wouldn't it be better for Punk to beat him and then MJF to take the title off Punk? Like, I don't know. I don't think you need to. Again, I don't mean to use the word waste, but I don't think you got to use everyone on Hangman on just the one guy. Spread it out a little bit. We don't need him. Like I said weeks ago, we don't need him beating all of the big debuts from All Out. Like, he's already got 2 or 3. That's enough. But
gotta complete the set.
I was thinking too, watching this to segue back. I really wish that Punk and Brian, like, I know they're saving it and they're so good about it, but like this happened back to back. Punk could have just been walking out as Brian was making his entrance, and they could have just acknowledged each other, just something. It is insane. It'll be like a fucking year before they ever have them on screen at the same time. Blows my fucking mind that they have that much patience.
I'm weirdly waiting now to see if Punk is somehow going to get involved with the Blackpool Combat Club. I feel like there needs to be one other member of the group. I feel like
It can't be another vet though.
I mean, can't it?
I mean, it could. I trust them, but like, I don't know.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. You sound like you're about to make a good point.
My favorite little detail from this match was something that came on commentary. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't commentary. It was the lower third, and they showed that Brian and Mox are now the number 4 ranked team in AEW. I feel like they're going to be building towards the 2 of them going for the tag titles, and I am more than okay with that. I think they'd be the perfect team, quite frankly, at this point, to take it off Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They're not going to get booed for taking it off of them, even though I guess they should be. But they're a believable team at this point. It gives them something to do while they're not going for the world title, because I don't see Brian going for it again anytime soon. And I think Mox, even though he could reasonably be a challenger for Hangman, I think a tag team title reign will give him more to do until he is champion again, because I think we all agree it's a matter of time. Yuta is rocking the ROH Pure title, or is it the TV? Pure title.
Pure title.
Yeah.
Joe's got the TV title.
And then if you bring in one other guy to be the quote unquote main eventer, the guy going for the world title or even the TNT title, you have a much more solid unit. And until they give me William Regal back in the ring, I think you could do that. I think you could get somebody. My big pick for it was going to be Samoa Joe. I do kind of want to see Samoa Joe in this group, but he said he doesn't want to be a part of it. So I think if you're not going to go Joe, go with somebody else that Mox and Brian have already both bled with, which is their thing for the BCC. Punk is a guy they've both bled with. So I love it. I think a lot of people would love it, but I doubt it. It's more of a pipe dream, but oh man, how cool would it be?
Okay. I mean, I want Punk and Brian interacting in any way, shape, or form, so I take it. And once again, just to address the chat, Dragoon, I'm not saying that Punk isn't solidified. I'm just saying Hangman is, so why does he need to be Punk? Like that's the whole thing. It's weird. I don't want to keep, we got to move on with the show, but like, why do you hate Punk so much, Dragoon? Like, it doesn't, I don't, is it just one of those things? We all have those people we just don't like, except James, but like, I don't understand it. But
I've heard Dragoon say, like, in my ear, what the hell has CM Punk ever accomplished in AEW? I don't know.
But I mean, he just said he beat half the goddamn roster. Like, so he beat he beat half the goddamn roster. Like, so I guess that is.
He's
So
only.
you're complaining about it, but that's something he's.
I mean, he's
he's
only
done.
lost one match, and it was under very dubious circumstances, and he won that, and he got that win back. Like,
Well, he lost that match twice, so he only got
Yeah.
one of those wins back. But
touche.
again, it's more impactful, Dragoon. Like, it's like you gotta be smart with this stuff. Like, not to talk about the other show, but like, I give Charlotte Flair a hard time every now and again on this podcast, but it doesn't mean I think everyone should beat Charlotte. You got to be fucking smart about it. You can't just have her lose to everyone. Whereas like Dragoon, you want Punk to lose like to everyone, it seems, because you've chatted him before, like, oh, like Goldust should beat him, or oh, this person should have beat him. Lee Moriarty should have beat him. Like come on, man. Like you gotta be smart about it. The only other person that could have beaten Punk so far is Kingston and arguably Wardlow. Like, but you gotta be smart with these losses. Anyway, sorry. Blackpool Combat Club is great though, but like it wasn't an important week for them. It's just a filler week.
Yeah.
They're still amazing.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, Wheeler looked good, James, so that's good.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row. He's the one who got the win. So they are really doing their best to build this kid up. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Notice I didn't say anything about who I want to win the Hangman Punk match. I haven't decided yet. All right. We had a quick backstage interview with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm. And hey, look, speaking of people who's alive, Ruby Soho, who came in at the end. Very quick, just hyping up the Owen Hart tournament, and then we came, I think, back.
Well, can I just say real quick that I thought this was good? I like this. I thought it was, and Ruby was on the show twice technically. So
yeah.
I mean,
isn't she usually on the show like when Eddie catches a beat down in the back and then
Yes.
she's there to help him?
Yeah, specifically whenever it's Eddie.
Yeah, it's always Eddie. I don't know. I just love that little bit of continuity.
I think she has a good view from catering. I think that's what it is. She just knows how to get there.
I like this too. It was very good. Good to hear Tony talk this week and stuff. Anyway, we came back from commercial to another backstage interview with Jurassic Express and Christian. Jungle Boy said he didn't want to sound like a sore loser, but he was upset with himself because he could have won last week, and he didn't because he hesitated and got carried away. And Christian said that he didn't sound like a sore loser. He just sounded like a loser. So yeah, this Christian heel turn is coming. Anyway, he challenged anybody in the top 5 to a match, and Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs answered the call, so they had that set up. But we're getting this Christian heel turn at some point.
Let me say, I love Ricky Starks so much, and I really, really, really like Powerhouse Hobbs too. But I'm sort of sick of them losing everything that doesn't have to do with the FTR. Wow,
FTW.
The FTW title. Like, I feel like unless Starks is defending that belt, he loses. And I'm happy to see them actually going to be on Dynamite as opposed to just being stuck on Rampage the way they have been. And yes, Nick, I know what you're thinking. They did beat Swerve and Keith Lee. But for the most part, yes, he got the hometown win, which Tony gives almost everybody that isn't John, what's his name? Alex Reynolds. Alex Reynolds is the only guy that I think has lost in his hometown. But
like all of the Dark Order to Brian.
Was that all? Were they all wrestling in their hometown?
Yeah, I think
Except
that was.
Brian and Jay.
Yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah, well, because
they
Brian
needed to
keeps
protect
ducking
Brian.
her.
Yeah, they needed to protect him. But
it'd be like putting Kairi Sane against Brock. You don't do that.
Brian's Kairi Sane in this.
So I forget what I was saying, but I totally lost it right there. I keep getting distracted.
Why does Ricky Starks keep losing except with the title and his win in his hometown? That's what your point was.
I'm with you, but I have more of a problem with them even challenging for the tag titles because we have so many tag teams.
Yeah. Well, it's not a title match yet, I don't think. I don't think they said title match.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They really shouldn't be having this match.
Yeah, it doesn't. They're singles guys. They're in a group. They team for feuds, not for titles.
They're ranked number 3. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they shouldn't be in the tag division. That's like Sting and Darby are more. Where's their title shot? They haven't lost a tag match ever. Like, how are they not? I don't know. There's just too many tag teams for this. But like, you know what? I guess at least Starks is on TV. Is the bright side.
Yeah, I'm here for any time Ricky Starks is on TV. Look, I think there's a good chance that they actually pick up the win whenever this match happens, because I think that's going to help lead into the Christian continuing to turn heel on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. So I don't know. That's my hot take on that. All right. After that, we had Wardlow versus Lance Archer. We had MJF and Shawn Spears in the luxury box again, and MJF cutting a quick promo. Wardlow again coming down surrounded by security, no music and handcuffs. Right as they take his cuffs off, Lance Archer cannonballs into him and all the security, and they go down like bowling pins. So, James, you got your security beat down in one shot.
Lance Archer is a veteran. He's got knowledge. He's got ring awareness. He's got that psychology down pat. You know, don't ever expect him to win a match, but man, does he know how to toss around little men, and I love it. Thank you, Lance Archer.
Anyway, this match was cool. Wardlow broke out some flippy shit we hadn't seen from him before, which including a swanton, I believe it was at one point. We saw Wardlow kicked out of he didn't kick out of the blackout. He went for the crucifix roll up the way Moxley did, and they pointed out on commentary, which is the only reason why I knew it. But then Archer was able to kick out. Anyway, then after the swanton, Wardlow hit 4 power bombs in his concerto, picked up the win, and then walked out the same he walked in cuffs. So another good win for Wardlow. You know, another just kind of a filler week, like Danny said about the last match. But we're continuing the storyline here, and I'm here for it.
I have a question about this story.
Sure.
Everybody, like every week now on commentary, and by every week, I mean these last 2 weeks that he's been wrestling, JR, Shivani, everybody keeps saying, we now see that Wardlow is just one step closer to getting his hands on MJF. Why is that the case? Was there like a stipulation that if Wardlow keeps winning matches, he gets MJF or something? Because I don't get it. Like, why do they keep saying that?
It's a good question. I've thought that too. I guess at least my psychology of it is at some point MJF is going to think like, okay, I got to step in the ring and handle this myself because all of these people I've bought and all of my flunkies aren't getting it done. But there has been no proof to that theory. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to back that statement up except, just wrestling. So I don't know. I genuinely can't answer your question. They keep mentioning it, but there's no good reason as to why he should get in the ring. Oh. Danny, you got anything on this, or is it just?
No, I'm with James. I think it's one of those ones that doesn't make a lot of sense. If just tell him to stay home. Tell him he's not like. I don't understand. And if he violates your orders, his pay gets frozen. I don't know. I feel like there's boring ways to get around this.
This is exactly why they have Mark Sterling on the payroll. Have him handle the boring bull crap. That way, it's just a throwaway lawyer line. That's what they're there for, but they're not utilizing him properly.
Yeah, like you said, Danny, if they just froze his pay unless he stayed home, like anytime he showed up, he got, his pay docked. But I don't know. Legal stuff isn't fun. So that's probably why they don't do it. All right. Next up, we had a sit down between the Jericho Appreciation Society and Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, where Tony Khan said any physicality between the two teams would result in fines and suspensions. Luca 2.0 called the fans the AEW Galaxy, which got a real good boo. Anyway, Eddie Santana jumped in the ring, threw all the chairs out. Ortiz still has the shoes from when they jumped them the other week, which I thought was great. But the rest of this was kind of meh for me. It felt a little disjointed, especially considering all of the great talkers in the ring and Danny Garcia. But he didn't have his best stuff tonight. Jericho and Eddie kind of
excuse me. His line about Eddie's eyebrows was perfect.
That was good.
Yeah.
But then like right after that, it kind of fell apart on him. I don't know why. There's just a lot of yelling and screaming without microphones and going back and forth. And like everything just seemed disjointed to me until, like I said, the end where Jericho said they were going to put a hit out on the three of them. And Eddie was just like, do you know what a hit means in my neighborhood? And then they even still had to go scramble for a mic for Jericho because Eddie hit it out of his hands and they had to go find a new working one. But it was all worth it in the end for Jericho's face when Eddie left the ring. So it seems like you guys like this a little more than I did, but it was weird and disjointed and mediocre. It was mid, to borrow a line. It was mid.
I mean, I'll step up to the plate for this segment, sort of. If the video editing department, cuts around some of the dead air, this is fantastic. This is an amazing segment. I thought Danny Garcia was actually pretty good, man. He looked like he was straight out of fucking Morris Park in his guinea tee, with a stupid hat on. He literally said "cuz," like he's definitely secretly from Morris Park, I believe it. But
never known anybody to say "cuz."
Bro, cuz, what's up? Come on.
We didn't. I don't know. None of my friends said it.
Bro, every white kid in Morris Park says "cuz," but Anyway, so I thought he was. This is especially compared to what he was before this, which was nothing. He was a gray blob with no personality. This is leaps and bounds better. And yeah, they calling it the AEW Galaxy was great. He also said it's best for business in the promo too. So, another nice authority line there. But yeah, I thought Santana Ortiz were great with pulling out the middle fingers. But honestly, where it does fall apart is Eddie, because he was just so fired up that he threw himself and the segment off the rails. But still, it was fine. It was still great. He's so intense that the crowd eats it up no matter what. But the ending was great with Jericho leaning all the way back in the chair, like, holy shit, what have I done? The only way this could have been better is if they just, I don't know. I feel like even though they said it a bunch of times, it still didn't feel completely clear that they couldn't hit each other, despite them saying it like 50 times.
Especially considering what happened later in the night.
Or if there would have been they established consequences for them hitting each other, I don't get it. Like, this was a little disjointed, like you said. So I actually, you know what? You're not wrong for feeling that way. I just feel like Danny Garcia was pretty good.
I agree.
You know where I think it fell apart with Garcia for me was when he just stopped whatever he was saying. He was just like, hit me. You want to hit me, don't you? I think that's where, he was mid-sentence and then started yelling that. So I think just all the commotion around him kind of threw him off, and he ad-libbed, and then it just kind of fell apart from there. But
I don't know. That's kind of how real arguments are.
Yeah, I guess you're not wrong. But I think what you were saying about him before that was right. So I'll cut him a little more slack than I was. James?
I like the segment. I agree with Danny. I thought that Garcia did a lot better than you're kind of giving him a little bit of credit for here, but I do get where your complaint comes. I don't know. I feel like they're really not utilizing the other three members nearly as well as they should be. 2.0 is, they are charismatic, funny guys, and they could be doing a lot more. They could have sold the middle finger so much better. They could have done a lot, and they're not being given those opportunities. As opposed to what the Inner Circle was, where it felt like every member was benefiting from being in that group and they were developing from being in that group. This really just feels like Jericho has a bunch of underlings to take the beatings for him. And on some level, that's fine, but I think these are not necessarily the guys for it when they could be doing something a little bit different. That said, they're on TV a lot, so I still consider that, I guess, a win. That said, as much as I hate Jake Hager, I absolutely think they could be doing funnier stuff with him. They could, like, they are not utilizing this guy nearly as well as they could be. And not even because, oh, Jake Hager is capable of so much, but simply because you have him in the background, have him do funny, silly shit. Have him pacing back and forth like a fucking madman for no reason at all. Like, just have him be a cartoon character, just like most. No, never mind. Gonna stop myself. But regardless, it was gonna be bad, and I'm glad I stopped myself.
I have an idea where I was going.
I mean, I before you were going there, I was like, gosh, I want to cut him off right now and just say, it kind of sounds like you're describing Luchasaurus right now, like the way you want him to act.
I mean, why not? It would be funnier. It would be better. Nothing against Luchasaurus. He's chef's kiss. We love him here on the pod. But just give that to Hager without any of the dinosaur background. Just have him be that fucking guy, and it would be great. But I digress. It was fine. I didn't need it. Especially, like, can we just jump ahead to what happened later?
Yeah, if you'd like me to. So
yeah, make it one big thing.
Yeah, I guess gotta find my notes on it because there's a lot of shit that went on tonight.
I mean, there's not that much to say about it. He just
Yeah, all right. So, okay, I forget after what matches was, but basically what happened was they jumped backstage and I don't even know what their names are anymore. The you want a taste guy, that guy, fucking, he grabs a fucking cameraman and he drags him into the back. And so I'm working on that. You see Santana Ortiz laid out and they got Eddie and fucking Jericho throws a fireball into his face and they all scatter. So, yeah, apparently Jericho is Kane now. And we're upping the level of violence to flash paper.
This felt way more Mr. Fuji than Kane. I'm sorry.
Probably a fire reference. I don't know. It was just odd. Like I didn't understand like if them beating them down in the back makes a whole lot of sense to me, but just like the fireball, like this is like okay. Like I would have much rather seen him like take like a pipe to his fucking head or something, like actually try to kill him.
Are they going to be fined and or suspended for this?
I don't know. When they said that on commentary, they made it seem like it was just for the sit down. So everything that happens after that wasn't underneath that purview. But who knows? Tony could just, lay down the law if he wanted to, but.
Or, law enforcement could lay down the law.
They're there for Wardlow. They're there for Wardlow.
That's assault, brother. All right. Anyway, next on the card, we had Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb in a Philadelphia street fight. Death taxes and Serena Deeb attacking Shida's knee. I mean, I love Shida and I like Deeb. She's very good in the ring, but they've had this match now for 5 times, and this one just had. Well, they already had this match. They just, I think they already had a no DQ match. The only difference was Serena Deeb found a bag of Coke underneath the ring and used it to blind Shida. Anyway, this match ended with Deeb getting Shida to tap after a Serenity lock, breaking it, slamming her knee into the chair a bunch of times, and then putting on a Texas Cloverleaf. And Thunder Rosa was watching backstage, so maybe that Deeb is now her next challenger. But this match was fine. I just hated it, James, because A, I'm a Shida mark, and I'm upset she lost. And B, it was the 5th time I saw this match, and whatever.
I don't know how much of a winner Deeb is here, and that's the problem. She won the feud, good for her, but she was so much hotter around the 3rd match, which I think she won.
Yes.
That would have been a good time for her to go for a title.
Which I also think was no DQ.
I know that there was a little bit of a break because Shida, I think, either was hurt or was going to Japan for some stuff.
She went back to Japan. I think she was filming a TV show or a movie or something in Japan.
And I get that. I respect that. It's, you got to play around certain real life situations. But this has been way too dragged out. I like both women. I think both women are probably the best actual like physical wrestlers in the company, and they're just not. No one benefited from this. And now that Deeb won, And all signs, like you said, are pointing to Thunder Rosa. Does she beat Thunder, who just won the title and everyone thinks has been squandered since winning the title? Or does she lose? And what was all this for? Nothing. It was all just a waste. So I really don't know what it was all about. I'm glad that it's finally over. I don't know what Sheeta does now. Sheeta's probably just not doing anything because that's just how it goes. If you're not going for a title and you're a woman in AEW, you're just kind of there.
Even if you are going for a title.
True. Are either of them in the Owen? Is Sheeta or Deeb in the Owen?
I don't believe so, as of right now.
Did Sheeta have a match last week to qualify? I'll double check that. But no, the only thing I'm going to push back on, James, is this. I wouldn't say it was for nothing because obviously you built up a number one contender to the title, but it took them a year. Like if they did this a series of 3 matches, Deeb gets wins 2 out of the 3, gets a title shot. That makes sense. This literally took a year. It was a year feud. And I understand there's a huge gap in the middle there, but just this might be some of the worst booking I think AEW has done. Not in terms of who won the feud, although again, I'm upset that Sheeta lost, but just in terms of how they went about doing it. So, Danny, do you agree with us here, or are you what are your thoughts? Now I'm all flustered.
So yeah, I understand. I agree with your pushback against James. I think it's fine to build up Deeb as a contender and just to lose to Rosa because Rosa needs credible people to beat, not just Nyla Rose, who is not credible. But like you said, James, like this could have been done at not necessarily her going after Rosa, but this could have been done after the 3rd match. There's 2 matches too many, arguably 3 matches too many, honestly. But you know what? The match itself was fun. They got a decent amount of time. The crowd was into it. We got a holy Sheeta chance. That's always a positive. Like I actually liked the slight alteration on the normal spot. I liked that it was a bag of Coke and not a fire extinguisher. That was really cool. I mean, clearly the fire extinguisher was needed backstage, and it's so weird that you said there was a bag of Coke under the ring because Jeff didn't even have a match.
God damn it.
It's Red's fault. He brought it up.
I think he's got one on Rampage, I think, and against my bad. It's next week against Bobby Fish to qualify. So
let's go Fish. I don't care actually. No, Jeff should win that match. I'm just kidding.
I'll take it. Move on. I got it. I got what I needed.
Yeah, there you go. God. The match was fun. So I don't want to gloss over that it was a fun match. It's too many times. Like I'm not super into Deeb, honestly. But it's good. At least she's consistently being booked. So I'll take that. I'll take not being into the person, but at least they are consistently booked and strongly booked. So, that's fine. Sheeta will just be on dark from here until the end of time. And that's that, it's sad, but that's just how it is.
I would like to thank Dragoon in the chat here. He did say Sheeta beat Julia Hart to qualify, so she does actually have something to do. She, along with the 4 women we mentioned earlier and Red Velvet, have all qualified on the women's side of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Okay, after that, we had a backstage interview with MJF, where after he ran off the interviewer, he made a phone call, and then after offering 6 figures to face Wardlow next week, he told us that Wardlow's new opponent would be taller than Wardlow, would be stronger than Wardlow, and you can't teach that. So holy shit, guys, W. Morrissey is going to be in AEW. For those of you who don't watch Impact, so probably almost all of you except James, W. Morrissey is what the former Big Cass has been going by. So James, I know not to go too long on this, but I know you're very intrigued by it because we are getting, I almost called it TNA. We're getting an Impact roster member back in AEW for the first time in a while.
I
So
love.
I'm going to cut you off, James, immediately and just say that I think it would be hilarious, albeit slightly problematic, if even though he said big guy, it's actually Enzo that he called.
Oh man, I
Uh,
wow. That I am knocked for a loop on that one.
Bro, such a good swerve, bro.
Oh, wow. All right. So, who? Man, now I'm gonna be disappointed if it's not him. But regardless, Morrissey has been booked beautifully by Impact Wrestling. He feels like a genuine threat and a genuine monster. He has been dominant. He has been a force to be reckoned with. And it's quite frankly how he should have been booked as a singles act in WWE. Now, granted, I think he's a lot better now than when he was in WWE. But all that aside, I'm really intrigued because of how well he's been booked by Impact to have him come into AEW to presumably just take a loss, because Wardlow can't lose, right? He shouldn't be losing. So very interesting matchup. One of two Impact crossovers for next week. I'm very excited, but yeah, I think the crowd who's expecting just regular old Big Cass is going to be in for a nice little surprise. Well, or a nice big surprise. And
unless Danny's right.
I mean, he's got a big ego. So either way, let's see. I think I'm gonna be happy because I think I'm gonna get more big meaty men slapping each other's meat.
Yeah, the hype is. I'm interested to see it too. Let's move along because we're starting to run on our show here. So let's try to run through the rest of this. So we had a House of Black promo where the lights immediately went out and spotlights came on to a just absolutely dead Fuego del Sol. And then when they were about to unmask him, Alex Abrahantes was in the ring and talking a bunch of shit. So the House of Black went down. Penta Obscuro comes out, a returning Pac, whatever, comes out. And then Alex came out. And then the person in the robes in the ring revealed that it was, shocker, Ray Fenix. So he's back. They did a bunch of good shit, kicked the shit out of the House of Black. Triple tope to end the segment. Very nice. I think that's actually where we had the whole fireball thing. Oh, no, it was after the Undisputed Elite Varsity Bonds match. Okay, we'll get there in a second. I finally found it in my notes. Quick backstage interview with Swerve and Darby about their Owen Hart qualifying match on Rampage, which is cool. And then we had the match I just mentioned, Undisputed Elite against the Varsity Blondes, Brock Anderson, Shotty Lee Johnson, and Dante Martin, which is a whole lot to say because there was a bunch of people in the match. Anyway, the Bucks don't seem too depressed anymore, but Julia Hart still does. So that's that.
Who cares?
Shivani had a great line. I thought Dante has hang time, is the hang time on a punt, which is great. I botched that. Anyway, basically the Bucks and Red Dragon fought this entire match with Cole coaching from the corner, getting them on the same page. They finally did. Ends up with Shotty Lee Johnson taking a 4-person DTE trigger, Cole lowering the boom, and then they get the win. And then Cole gives the Bucks an Undisputed Elite t-shirt, or they give them each an Undisputed Elite t-shirt. So good match. The young guys got their offense in early before the commercial, which I thought was cool. But Danny, I think this was exactly what we expected. They're all on the same page now. They pick up the win. Easy peasy.
Yes.
Easy.
Whatever, it was a squash, which it needed to be. I mean, the t-shirts were a great touch, actually. So that was nice. But yeah, it's again like another filler week for this. But what was needed to be accomplished was accomplished. I actually liked the House of Black and Phoenix return way more than any of this. But like that was dope. Actually, I liked that swerve, quote unquote. But yeah, whatever, fun stuff. quick squash. I kind of, not gonna lie, I was a little bit behind, and I had to fast forward through this to get to the ladder match because
Fair play. Actually, just a note of the House of Black stuff. I do actually kind of like how they address the whole, Alex is dressing like a moron thing. And it was like, hey, that's because we were saving it for this. So now hopefully he just kind of dresses cool again. That
I
leather
look
jacket
stupid to make you look stupid.
the leather jacket get up you on look great.
I love that one Death Triangle is a group of 3 guys that have no gimmicks in common. Even their manager is just so different than the guy he's managing. I agree. I love that they finally acknowledge Alex's awful cosplay, because that's what it had to be, right? Just awful cosplay. But I genuinely, I don't know if in my heart of hearts I want to believe that this was always planned, or if this was just their way of pivoting, which even if it was a brilliant pivot. But I love that return. And is Fuego just dead?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Fuego,
we're
I
never gonna see
assume.
him on TV again, so it might as well be.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out on Sammy's vlog next week.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's dead.
And if he's not dead, is he now friends with them? Is he friends with Death Triangle now?
I mean, I think he's gonna work better with Death Triangle than he's gonna work with fucking Sammy now.
Yeah, fair.
So
yeah.
So I don't know.
I miss Fuego Dos. That would have worked great.
He died.
Oh,
He's dead.
true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dead,
I miss
Nick.
him. He died.
No, we
It's a
don't.
shame.
It happened. We're past
I
it.
miss him.
We're past him.
Yeah,
But-
you guys sound past it. Yeah.
And Undisputed Elite, it feels so much like they're just in a holding pattern, right? Like we're just waiting for Kenny to come back, because otherwise, what the fuck is all this about?
Yeah, I mean, there was the tease with the Bucks a couple of weeks ago on BTE with the colorful Hangman gear, but yeah, it does kind of seem like they're just holding out for Kenny. So
No,
I know he's
forget
rehabbing.
titles. They're gonna make a 5-man title.
I know Kenny's rehabbing. He gave an update today on his Instagram. I think I didn't get a chance to see it, but all comments were that it seemed positive. So, I mean, hey, the sooner Kenny can get back, the better, obviously, especially with Forbidden Door. I think we all would love to see him there, but we'll see about that. And yeah, I guess I did like that commentary did mention the fact that I think it was Excalibur who said the under 30 contingent in AEW is so promising and stuff. And I know we have this argument every week, Danny, between the young guys who are going to lose and the guys and the jobbers, but I think that's what Excalibur defined right there. The under 30 contingent who they're not there yet, but they are going to be the future of the company, and they're all so promising. So
I mean,
excited.
on this team, no, but I agree with that sentiment in general.
Well,
Who was-
Dante. You're gonna tell me Dante is not
Okay,
a future star?
yeah, it's I mean, he doesn't have a choice but to break out as a single star, because the tag team thing is not going to work out at this rate. Unfortunately, due to no fault of his own or his brothers, unless you want to fault them for their style of wrestling. But I don't.
He says it's not an injury. He says it's not a health thing. So I just don't know what is going on with Darius.
Yeah, whatever it is, I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted on the record, especially because Chad isn't here. I love Griff Garrison. I think that guy is a
who the
star.
fuck is Griff Garrison?
Okay, bro. Like,
No,
you
I
can
really like Griff too.
guy- He is not a star. No one on that team is a star. Not even Dante is at best an FTW champion.
I said he's a star waiting to happen. He's not there yet. I think he has all the
None of them
potential to
are.
be a star.
Yeah, that's the point. All of those guys have the potential.
Oh God, I
We're
don't want
having the same
I don't
argument we
wanna
had last
Eric
week, and the
this
week before,
again.
and the week before that. We have this argument every week.
I don't want to Eric this, but
Yeah.
gross.
All right, let's wrap up here. The last thing that they had before the main event was a preview of Samoa Joe versus Trent for the Ring of Honor title on Rampage. Also, Hook versus Danhausen on Friday. Let's fucking go. Honestly, between that and some of the matches they announced for Dynamite next week, I think we ran through 2 of them, which was Jeff and Fish, and then Deanna Purrazzo going to be on the show, and then Willie Morrissey, or he's just W. Morrissey now. Next week's Rampage is going to be hyped. So be sure to tune in there and then tune in here next week on the Market Down podcast. Anything to say, guys, before we get out of here?
I am going to miss next week's episode most likely, and I'm very much going to regret it, but I know you guys got it without me, and it's going to be, you guys are going to kill it, and just please be gentle to Jeff.
I will attempt to keep the Jeff slander to its usual levels.
No, that's not okay. That's not good.
Oh man, it's not slander. I'm just balancing out your puff pieces about him. Jesus. But don't tell people you're not going to be here. False advertise and say you're going to be here until the show starts. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. James had a last minute cancellation, like John Cena in the Royal Rumble like 2 years ago. Like, come on.
Card subject to change.
Half these people are your friends, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to tune in. But please do. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are very, very close to 100 subscribers and getting James's rap. So we are really hyped for that. We're already starting to plan beats and write out some lyrics and everything. So once we get there, we're going to him to spit a few bars. I will get the social media stuff into the description once YouTube lets me, like I say every week. Still don't know why it just doesn't let me do it right when we're in, but I don't know. That's the way it goes. So for Danny Hernandez and James Asante, I'm Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you here next week live on the Market Down podcast. Have a good night.